Good evening. We welcome you here to our West Valley City Council meeting tonight. We call our meeting to order. We note that we have 6 members of the council present. Councilwoman Karen Lang is excused. Our opening ceremony tonight will be from Councilman Lars Nordfeldt.
Thank you. Would everyone please stand with me and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we come to that point. So I know we have one young man here representing his own group or troop or whatever. We'd invite you to come forward. So troop number, your school, and then whoever was designated over here will be next.
My troop number is 1944, and I go to Hunter Junior High, and I'm here for the communication merit badge.
Very good. Thank you for coming. Okay, and we got a young man prepared and ready. Come on up.
Our troop number is 3147, and some of us go to Neil Armstrong Academy, while the rest go to Monticello. Some of us aren't here, and we're here for building a better world.
Okay, thank you very much. Nice to have you here. With that then, we go to our minutes of November 22nd. Motion to approve the minutes.
Mayor, move for approval of the November 22nd minutes.
Second.
We've got it before us. Any discussion? Okay, then all in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Passes unanimously. The minutes are approved. Next, item 6 on our agenda is our Employee of the Month award. We'll turn to Councilman Christensen for that.
Our Employee of the Month this month is Eric Brondon. Eric, would you like to stand up and let everybody know who you are? Thank you. He was nominated by Margot Alexandrovich. Eric is known to be very, you gotta stand up while I read this whole thing so you can get it. Eric is known to be very competent at his job. He has a positive attitude toward work responsibilities, co-workers, and customers. Recently, Eric demonstrated an extraordinary act of customer service for which we would like to nominate him. We received a letter, this is the Public Works Department, received a letter addressed to the Director of Public Works from the neighborhood in our community recognizing Eric's actions. And then the letter is included, and let me read that letter. Me and my neighbors wanted to make you aware of our gratitude for the tremendous job that Eric Brondum did in serving our children and the other students at Hunter Junior High. Our elementary school was realigned last year so that our students now go to Hunter Junior High. This requires them to cross 3500 South. It's a very busy street with distant crosswalks and even some areas without a sidewalk. We communicated our safety concerns several months ago with Mr. Brondum and UDOT and was assured that it was being taken care of. Fast forward to yesterday, and nothing had been put in place for our students who started school today. Plus, there is construction at the location they would need to cross, causing even more concern. I called a number of people and left many messages. Eric was the only one to call me back. He seemed equally concerned and said that he would have a crossing guard and a police officer there to make it safe until something more could be done. I ended up driving this morning because I didn't know what the situation would be like. I was extremely impressed that despite 3500 South not being his responsibility, he went the extra mile for our children. Not only were the crossing guard and officer there, He had managed to get a crosswalk painted and signs posted overnight. I know that he worked with Detective Mike Millett, who's great too, to get it arranged. But he took the responsibility and the initiative to make it happen. As his supervisor, we think you should know about the great job that he's done for those who helped, and those who helped him. One more big reason to live in West Valley City, and it's signed by the parent, Emily Baran. We believe Eric is a great candidate for the Employee of the Month. Thank you.
In fact, I think you did twice, didn't you? The crosswalk.
Something wrong with that, too. Lose it.
Thank you for being here, Eric, and for the work that you do. Next is our comment period for the information of those attending in our meetings. We have an opportunity for the public to speak. They don't have to, but they can, and we always have that opportunity. And usually they have a sign-up list, and no one signed up today. So, seeing no one wanting to speak publicly, we'll come back here. And Mr. Pyle, any comments you have for tonight?
No, sir, thanks.
The council, any comments? I would say on the crosswalk, actually, that they did it twice. Because they were working on it, and then they did some paving, and it covered up the old one, and so they went and did it a second time. Just to make sure our children in our city were safe. Next on our agenda, we go to ordinances. We have ordinance 16-53. This is amending a part of our city code. It's a consolidated fee schedule for the animal control department, where we charge fees when people pick up animals for spaying, neutering, inoculations. Found that some of ours were out of line. They surveyed across a number of different animal control shelters, found that some of our fees were too low, and we had them kind of a little bit for everything, and so they consolidated them to make them easier to understand, and then they reduced the fee for the microchip, cut it in half to make it more reasonable, and because that still covered the cost. So this modifies that fee schedule. That's all we're doing, is changing the fee schedule with this particular ordinance. With that introduction then, to the council for either a motion or further discussion.
Mayor, I move for approval of ordinance 16-53.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. And for your information, we may not ask very many questions here. This is the second time we've discussed it. We have a study meeting that's held prior to this meeting. That study meeting is for next week, the ones we just discussed. And so we talked about these because we didn't have a meeting last week, 2 weeks ago. So if we don't ask a lot of questions, don't be surprised, because we've discussed it and these are pretty routine tonight. With that then, in accordance with state law, we will take a roll call vote on this ordinance.
Councilman Vincent?
Yes.
Councilman Bueller?
Aye.
Councilman Hume?
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next, we go to Resolution 16-181. Now, this is to approve an interlocal cooperation agreement. That's between cities, or with us and the county in this case, Salt Lake County and our city. This particular one has, and I got to get on the right one, I just called up the wrong thing. My fingers aren't working. There we go. This particular one has to do with what is called the Health Department's point of distribution, which is located at Hunter High School. In the event of a public health emergency or incident, that is a location that has been identified for them to take care of things in this part of the valley. And in cooperation with that, this interlocal agreement establishes that our police department will provide physical security and safety at that point of distribution. And they do some training things. We hope it's never used, but in case it ever is, it's all set up and planned for. That's what we're doing, is upgrading that agreement, because the previous agreement will expire this next year, 2017, and this is going to extend it to 2022. With that introduction then, to the council.
I move for resolution 16-181.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll turn to our city recorder for the vote.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Vincent,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, next we have resolution 16-182. This is a resolution regarding a veterans hall that may possibly be built in West Valley City and identifying a potential location. A location, the council has identified a location which is close to the Stonebridge Golf Course, and this resolution will authorize our city manager to work with the Veterans Hall Foundation to see if a mutual agreement can be worked out. Any agreement that would be brought forward would have to be approved by the city council. And by disclosure, I'm a veteran and I'm on the Veterans Hall Foundation that's doing this as well. There are other potential sites in other locations, but West Valley City is the first to step forward with an official resolution, which is greatly appreciated by the foundation. That's the introduction to this issue. Doesn't commit anything, but gets the process started. With that, to the council.
Mayor, move for approval of resolution 16-182.
Second.
Motion is properly before us. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll go with the roll call vote.
Councilman Vincent,
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
No.
Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes by majority.
Okay, thank you very much. That completes our business for our regular council meeting. As you see, it's fairly short, just a little over 15 minutes. But we will hold another short meeting right after this, so we'll just go right into that as soon as we adjourn. If you want to stay, you can. It's the Housing Authority. And it will be a fairly brief meeting as well. You're welcome to stay for that if you would like. With that then, the final motion.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. Our regular city council meeting is adjourned.
Call to order the Housing Authority meeting, and note that we've had an opening ceremony that all members are present except for Karen Lane. And we have two resolutions. We turn to our city manager to introduce the first one.
Thank you, sir. The first item concerns the Jared Campbell Apartments, which is a project that the Housing Authority entered into and participated in some almost 20 years ago. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But anyway, we had private funding partners in that project, one of whom was Wells Fargo Bank. And part of the interest that Wells Fargo Bank accrued out of this project was that they were able to take advantages of tax credit structure that enabled them to participate, and it was a good partnership for us. They've been able to take advantage of those tax credits to the greatest advantage, and part of the original agreement was that when they were finished with that, they would assign their interest and really basically exit interest and management or any other kind of responsibility for the project. And we have come to that point, and this resolution would reassign that interest away from Wells Fargo in 2020.
Thank you. All right, I turn to the Housing Authority to make a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move for approval of Resolution 16-11.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, questions? All right, we'll turn to our secretary for a vote.
Mr. Vincent,
Yes.
Mr. Bueller,
Aye.
Mr. Hume,
Aye.
Mr. Bigelow,
Aye.
Mr. Christensen,
Yes.
and Chairman Nordfeld.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. We have one more resolution. Mr. Pyle, will you introduce that, please?
Yes, sir, thank you. From time to time, the Housing Authority enters into property purchase agreements for various purposes, and this is one of those items. We're proposing that we purchase a residence at 3015 West Lehman Avenue. This is located within the boundaries of the Fairborn project area, and we would be using it in conjunction with development of the Fairborn area.
Thank you. Turn to the Housing Authority for a motion.
Move for approval of Resolution 16-12.
Second?
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, we'll turn to our secretary then for the vote.
Mr. Christensen,
Yes.
Mr. Bigelow,
Aye.
Mr. Hume,
Aye.
Mr. Bueller,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Yes.
and Chairman Nordfeld.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. That concludes our business, so we'll have one more motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.